Does non-scientific paleoart exist?
Any paleoart that is not scientific doesn't exist, as a paleoartistic work should always be preceded by research on the subjects depicted in the artwork.
How much do scientific accuracy and artistic rendition matter in terms of percentage points, 100%, in a paleoart piece?
Considering paleoart as a particular artistic form closely tied to scientific research, I'd say it's 50-50. Nonetheless, it remains an artwork, even artistic. The skeletal reconstructions, which I consider paleoart, are an exception that I'll discuss later.
Can cubist or surrealist paleoart exist?
I would say no. Considering paleoart also aims to communicate to the public what we believe to be the more or less faithful appearance of an extinct living being, I highly doubt that a cubist or surrealist paleoartistic work can achieve that goal.
As scientific accuracy diminishes within a paleontological illustration, does it cease to be paleoart and transform into art? Or can we continue to label it as paleoart?
It depends on the extent of deviation. An artist is free to depict a creature reminiscent of an extinct living being, but the loss of scientific accuracy implies that such work, albeit wonderful, is not paleoart. Instead, it's merely a product of the author's imagination and technical skill.
What is the limit of paleoartistic speculation?
Artistic speculation finds its space in the gaps where science still doesn't provide answers. For instance, I can depict a dinosaur with more or less arbitrary colors if we have no information about them. However, it would be a mistake, for example, to depict a Microraptor with predominantly red feathers, as we know Microraptor had black plumage. The speculative capacity is always proportional to what we don't know, and also reflects the artist's understanding. So there are speculations and then there are speculations.
Is it mandatory for paleoartists to rely on a scientific reviewer?
It depends on the paleoartist's level of expertise in the field. Many paleoartists are also paleontologists or naturalists. As someone who isn't, I often seek information or clarify my doubts by consulting more experienced individuals.
Is Dinotopia by James Gurney paleoart?
Dinotopia is a work of fantasy, with the significant merit of realistically representing dinosaurs based on the knowledge available at the time of its creation. James Gurney himself, in an email exchange we had years ago, stated that if he were to depict certain species in Dinotopia today, he would certainly have added feathers. In summary, as a whole, Dinotopia is a fantasy book in which, for the portrayal of dinosaurs, the author adopted the principles of paleoart.
Is representing a dodo or a thylacine paleoart?
The dodo and the thylacine aren't very ancient in geological terms. Both are extinct, but while we have video and photographic documentation for the thylacine, we aren't as fortunate with the dodo. We only have illustrations from the 17th century and a fairly decomposed skull. Perhaps for the dodo, we can talk about paleoart, whereas for the thylacine, I would say we should limit ourselves to calling it scientific illustration. This is an opinion I'm willing to reconsider.
Skeletal reconstructions, are they considered paleoart?
Yes, skeletal reconstructions are considered paleoart, but in a very specific sense. They are faithful representations based on fossil evidence and the most plausible hypotheses we have about the accurate assembly of parts and proportions of the species in life. From this perspective, they can be seen as foundational to paleoart, representing an indispensable resource for paleoart as a whole. Personally, when I'm about to sculpt an animal, extinct or not, the skeletal reconstruction is the first reference I seek. Furthermore, skeletal reconstructions also hold immense value in disseminating anatomical knowledge to the general public.
Paleoart, to you, in as few words as possible?
Paleoart is the scientifically accurate artistic representation of extinct species based on the most current information available about those species. Thanks for watching.